Welcome back to Delboy's Garage. Okay, today I want to crack on with the project. It's been a long time since we've been on this, probably about the last 4 or 5 videos. I've been faffing around doing other things, but this is the core reason for the channel that we have. It's to kind of do this project and show you things along the way and impart knowledge, skills and tips that you can use in your bikes and your builds. Now, this project has hit a bit of a wall, and I decided I was going to do something with this console on the front, and the reason I've kind of took some time to do other videos is because I wasn't sure about it, but now I am. I've had a little think, I know what I need to do, and I am going to stick with it. As you saw back at the beginning, I made this thing which was going to go on the front, and just jumped it and went with the Harley tank. And I had that moment, I had one of those doubt moments come up probably about a week ago, and I thought, not sure about the tank console, possibly another idea. And as all these things, as it always works well, just let it roll through your skull a little bit and the right answer will come to you, and that's what it is. I'm going to stick with it, and today I'm just going to do one thing on a drain hole. That needs a drain hole around the filler cap, and I'll explain a little bit more about that so you know what it's going to look like and you understand where we're going with it. Enough waffle, that's it. Welcome back to Delboy's Garage. Let's get stuck in. Alright, so this console, there's a basic skeleton, and I'm really quite proud of it actually, because it's all straight and true, which is quite difficult when you're welding anything that takes multiple welds, because the heat from those welds can distort things and twist them. But this is absolutely straight and true, and I achieved that through putting a backbone right down the middle, one piece of wire all the way through it, and then when I'd finished welding it all, cut that out so its original straightness was retained. It's a bit like building a motorcycle frame itself. It's just the same principle. Now it's going to go on there. Doesn't look much at the minute, so like all these things, they take a while before they start to look good. And in that section there is the speedo, little digital GPS speedo is going to go in there. And no, I'm not going to put a USB charger in there, because honestly it lasts 36 hours. I never ride that long in one go, and you just plug it in like your mobile phone, so it's not relevant and it's unnecessary wiring I don't need to do. So that's that answered. And the other thing is this section. This is where the filler cap is accessed from. I'm going to bring you in a bit closer so you can see what I mean. Alright, so this section here, the cap itself will open, it comes back to about this point and stops, and then you fill the fuel and you put the cap back down. So this will all be fiberglassed in around here like a wall, so that will be a permanent recess. This little section here, decided I'm just going to put a piece round, so I'm going to make it more of a complete circle, but that will be part of today. The other thing is a drain hole. Obviously once that's a little recess, any rainwater getting in there is not going to get out, it's going to roll underneath there and whatever, and if I fiberglass right down to that, it's going to end up like a little pond, so that's no good. And also if I spill any fuel in that recess, it's going to have to get out. So using the left hand side, because that's the side the bike leans on the side stand, I'm going to cut this out here and put just a little tube in. That's all it is, just a little piece of tube that will sit like an arch and allow the water to run out, or the fuel, whatever's in there, at the lowest point. So I'll divert it, I don't know, I think I'll divert the water straight forward, straight out onto the side of the tank. It doesn't make any difference at the end of the day. When it's raining, the bike's going to get washed. So I'm thinking perhaps run it all the way down and then out the bottom, but there's no need, and it's overcomplicating it, and I can't weld anything to the steel, so I'm not on the tank because it's too thin. So all it is 2 pieces around there and a little arch somewhere in there for the water to run out. Easier to do it than to say it, so let's get on with it. Right, okay, the first thing to do is that ring around the back edge, and the easiest way in the world, this exact curvature there and inside the curvature at the back follows the perfect line of the tank cap, because I've bent the wire around the tank cap. So I need to cut 2 lengths of this to fit in, and the best way to bend them is like I did around the tank cap, because then they're exact size, exact shape, and they follow the line. Show it on me. Now, let's get down a bit. As you can see, that fits a lot better now. This back end wasn't quite right, but I like that much more, and it will definitely clear, because just check that, clears it completely, loads of room, even with the keys in, so that's good. Followed this curve down more. It was kind of more straight then. I had this idea of doing it humpback, but I think just blending the line is better because it goes with more with the front. So that will get blended in. And now, after probably about half an hour of thumb numbing manipulation, that wire practically touches everywhere along the curve now that it follows. So it'll be easy to bond that on with some panel bond so it's completely sealed, and then blend it in without any gaps or wonkiness, because wonkiness won't do. Right, that's that part of it. Drain tubes, I've got to have one from the front down, because obviously when it's upright, if it's raining, and the drain tube's just on the left, it's still going to fill up until you lean it to the left. So I'll put a little drain tube on the front, which will just drain out there, and I'm going to put one on the left for when it's on the stand. And I've got just the thing for it. It means a bit more cutting and welding in, but that is all part of what this is. Moving right along. Let's turn you around. See it doing. Alright, it's a little bit of a mess now. Close up of it. There you go. It's this. Actually, so much better on the tank. Let's take you off there. Right, sorry for shaking you about. Alright, now as you can see, this back end looks a lot better than the pointed one that was there, and it gives me a lot more space to flop the tank cap back, so that's cool. I've just bent these in rather than the sharp sort of curve that they had, or the more of a corner, and that'll. These are all. This touches as much as it can along there. There's little areas where it doesn't, but it's going to get panel bonded in, so I shall put the whole lot on a bead. So I'll mark it first, take that off, and then fill panel bond in there and squidge it down onto it, and then mould that in so it'll be buried under it. And panel bond glues cars together, so it won't go anywhere. The most important thing was these drains. Now that drain there came out, it was a little bit too high one side, so I had to cut it and then weld. They're a bit of a mess now. This welding's just appalling, but it's really strong. And I've had to over weld this every single joint. I mean, you could just tack gently, and then once it's fiberglassed in, the frame becomes largely redundant because it works together with the fiberglass to make a strong monocoque affair. So this, though, on the other hand, I've had to manipulate it quite a lot, because what's important is the symmetry, getting that absolutely straight. It's not absolutely straight, not by any means, but it's as good as it needs to be for what it is, which is just a custom bike. Now that drain there, the idea of this is obviously when it's sitting still, you can see that's line of the wall. You can see it's quite a slope down the front of the tank, so it's going to run off the front. So you definitely need a big drain in there, and that's a good finger size hole there. So, and it doesn't matter that it doesn't touch at the sides, because that, again, I'll panel bond all that in. Once that's glued down, that will get bonded in. So everything on the base will be sealed first, and then after that, fiberglass the top of it in, and that will give me pretty much the outline shape. The next thing, I mean, and I'm going to cut the front of that as well. A lot of you said, what about lock? Does it go lock to lock? Yes, it does. This, just want to show any of you doubting Thomases. There we are. It is nowhere near it. That's lock to lock. And when you come around the side, if I just do that, your arm's going to be nowhere near that whatsoever. So there's loads and loads of room, all measured up before I started putting all the effort into this. That on the front, I'm just going to block that in, so it'll have the effect of just this little gap will just be quite cool. It'll bring that line up there and then across the top. The next little job is in here. It's to fabricate, I mean, this has been 5 hours now, believe it or not, to just remake this back end and then put the 2 drain tubes in, measuring it all, getting it right, and redoing it again, and then redoing it a 3rd time when the symmetry isn't right. The symmetry is what it's about. I want the thing, there you go. I want it symmetrical, and it is pretty much. Everything's square. So, I mean, you can see little tiny areas. This back one's just a little tiny bit out. But you know me, OCD. The old OCD has to be taken care of. Not really. This is just, I want it right and I want it once. What I don't want is to ride up the road and look at it and think, oh, I wish I just took a bit more time to do that or that, you know. So the next job, like I said, is just in this little tray here, where the speedo is going to sit in this little square. I need to fabricate a little metal tray that sits in there about 3/4 of an inch deep, with a hinge on the top and a little metal lid with a glass fronting, so I can lift up the lid, drop the speedo in, pop the lid down and lock it, and the speedo's in there sealed and waterproof, and then take it out later on to recharge it. And once again, no USB chargers on this bike. It's a street fighter, not an adventure bike. Right, so there we are. That's that done. 5 hours more on the project, and really getting there. That tank console's really fun. It's really good fun. I love fabricating. I love creating something that didn't exist before. And you can do it yourself. It doesn't cost anything, not in real terms. You're buying bits and pieces of material, welding it together. If you watch the basic skills welding and you just start tacking things, you can make all kinds of stuff just by tacking them. If you're going to use filler and paint later on and a grinder, you can make them good no matter who you are. Because when you're finished and you pull up at a bike meeting, someone says, where did you buy that? And you say, I made it. Now that is cool. That is priceless. It truly is. And every time that happens, I thank every moment of the hundreds of hours I spend on a project that I did. And it's the same with that. 5 hours today. I could have started fiberglass in that in the last time, but honestly, it needed drain holes. It needed 2 drain holes. It needed straightening up. It was a little bit twisted. And getting that done, I'm actually happier with it now. And taking your time, that's what it's all about, the patience. The message for this video, if I can express one at all, is take the time and have the patience to go on. On the list up here now, we're up to 110 hours. My mate, Mr. Dyson, said the other day it's going to be at least 200. He's absolutely right. I reckon probably more than that. To be honest, we've only done the nose cone. We've done all the peripheral stuff. That 110 hours includes the mechanical stuff, the fork seals, the headstock bearings, the coolant, the radiator, the stuff that's nothing to do with customization. That was rectification of a knackered old bike. And that's always the way with the project. You're going to get a bit of that. So on this one, now we're into the fabrication, now we're into the custom stuff. We could probably say about 50, 60 hours of this so far has been on that. And I reckon there's another 150 or so before the tail unit, a wild, funky, cool tail unit is made, something radical that's going to fit the rest of it. Because no point in making all this, making it look fantastic, if the back end is a bit dull and samey and you just went out and bought a 916 tailpiece and just slapped it on. That's just a fail, isn't it? On every level. So in that sense, it's going to be finished right the way through to a good standard. A few of you asked about crash bars or crash cage. Yes, I do want to do something lower down on the bike, but I'm not thinking crash cage because it's not a stunt bike, because I'm shit at stunts and I just hurt myself. So honestly, probably a little piece of bodywork, probably something like this, not a Sportster tank, but you know, some piece of steel bodywork to fill in where the belly pan kind of area would be. And again, not a cut down ZX 7R fairing kind of chopped off to look okay, because that's just shit. It's not the right way. Create, fabricate and innovate. That's the only way to take a custom bike, park it at a show and get people cooing over it, taking its photograph and giving you rosettes. Not that I do it for that, it is about the journey, but that pride, that dignity in it, when you roll up at somewhere and people stand there and are amazed, again, that is absolutely priceless. Look, that's enough. I'm going to shut up waffling now and get this up. I'm going to leave you with a wall of friends and thank you all for your amazing support. It is without doubt only because of you, certainly the patrons and the rest of the viewers, supporting what we do here, that we do it at all. We wouldn't do it. I'd just build my bike and I'd probably have this on the road by now. Not to that standard at all. It would just be done and it would just be a basic fire. So you are driving this and funding this. So thank you so much for that. Take it easy, ride safe, and I'll see you all next time. And a cup of tea.